I get asked a lot if it makes more sense to buy a house or to rent a house. And the answer is it depends. But there's a few key things that kind of live behind the scenes when you're looking at purchasing versus renting. And once you understand them, you're gonna have a lot more clarity on what makes sense for you and your situation. This isn't about saying that buying is always better or renting is always better. It's about understanding the key financial differences between the two so that you can move forward with the information you need to make a decision. At its most basic level, the biggest difference between the two is that 100% of your monthly payment on a rental goes towards your living expenses. You pay money, you live there, that's it. On a purchase, it's split. You pay money, some of it goes towards a sunk cost, right? Interest, taxes, things like that. Some of it goes towards equity paydown. Now, while that equity paydown is still a monthly expense, that is in essence going directly into your pocket. Simply put, rent disappears, paying a mortgage, some of it comes back to you. The second thing that lives behind the scenes is the concept of equity. So every single month when you're paying a mortgage, part of that payment goes towards paying down the loan, which becomes equity in the property. So equity is the difference between what your property is worth and what you currently owe on it. When you're paying that mortgage payment, your equity position increases. It's similar to a forced savings account. It's kind of the idea that you have to pay it every single month, but some of it gets set aside for you for the future. If you live in your home for 5 years, 7 years, even longer, that adds up over time to a pretty significant amount of money. In addition to that forced savings account, you have what's called appreciation, which is the idea that homes just get more expensive over time. Now, this isn't a get-rich-quick thing. It's a slow and steady wealth builder over time. But the idea is if you have to pay to live somewhere anyways, with a purchase, you are building equity and you are being able to enjoy the upswing in the value of that property over time. And then there's the concept of leverage. Now, this is something that quietly lives behind the scenes that I don't think gets enough credit when it comes to deciding if you're going to purchase or rent. In essence, when you own a home, you are controlling a very large asset, often multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars for a relatively small amount of cash out of pocket comparatively. For example, if you buy a $400,000 home and you put 5% down, which is 20%, and it appreciates at 5% in just 1 year, which is not unheard of by any means, especially here in Chicagoland, you have now gotten in 1 year a 100% return on your money. That is nearly unheard of. You also had a place to live in the process. One of the most overlooked benefits when you look at purchasing a home versus renting is the stability of payments. And this is something that you don't necessarily feel in a year or two, but you do feel it over time. So here in Chicagoland, if you are going to rent a home, you can expect anywhere from a 5% to a 10% increase on your rent year over year, typically speaking. On the flip side, when you purchase a home, you are locking yourselves into a 30-year, typically fixed rate mortgage, which means that your principal and interest payment isn't going to change for the next 30 years. Now, you will have some small fluctuations in things like taxes and insurance, but it's not going to be this compound effect the way that it would be on a rental. When you zoom out and you look at the fact that you buy a home, a lot of people will purchase their first home when they are in the beginnings of their career, and their payment stays pretty stable, but their income increases over time. That's how you start to see a huge gap in the flexibility and the financial forecast of someone that decided to purchase versus rent. And when you own a home, you have future flexibility. So you can sell it and pocket the combination of equity and appreciation. You can rent it. You can pass it down to a member in your family. There's options. When you're renting, when you're ready to move out, you just move out. Financially, buying a home can be an extremely powerful tool. If you use it properly, you plan for it properly, and the timing makes sense for you. In our next video, I'm actually going to break down when renting may actually make sense for you. And as always, if you're here in Chicagoland and you want to explore the idea of renting versus buying, click the link in the caption. We're here to help.